Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of 2019 for the Shade and Shit Talking Podcast. I'm your host, TK, and as always, I thank you guys for tuning in. So, 2019 is finally here, and I am looking forward to a very blessed and very prosperous year, not only for myself and my family and friends, but for each and every one of you who are listening to this podcast. I speak peace and blessings to you all. Now, 2008 was full of ups and downs, good and bad. We had a lot of crazy stories going on, and I'm just hoping, 2019 is not as turbulent as some of the things that we had to see and face in 2018. Now, starting off 19, I know a lot of people made New Year, New Me resolutions and so on and so forth, and that's cool. That's your thing. I hope the resolutions you made, you are able to reach those resolutions and keep them. Now, as far as myself, I did make two. The first one is I resolved to strive to be a better version of myself, a better husband, father, brother, cousin, friend, whatever. And I'm really, really working hard to do that this year. Just like that's the same resolution I've made every year. My second resolution was not to be as petty and mean and shit. And I gotta tell you, I already fucked that up. I can scratch that off the list. And one of the main reasons why I've already blew that one out the water was the release of Surviving R. Kelly. Now, first and foremost, let me just say, Ara is a piece of trash. He's a piece of shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. First of all, if somebody got to make a whole docuseries about surviving one man, then you know he fucked up. And I've had a lot of people say, and I've seen a lot of people say, it was money grab by all those women and blah, blah, blah. Nah. No. Every single woman ain't lying on him. Just the same with Bill Cosby. Every single woman didn't lie on R. Kelly. They just didn't. Now, like I said, he had a serious problem. And he is fully to blame for his actions. Fully. But if we're going to talk about accountability, his accountability, we got to talk about everybody who was involved. They are just as guilty, and hell, they all should go to jail. If you as a parent willingly gave your teenage daughter to this man, you should go to jail. If you saw him doing what he did and turned a blind eye because you was getting money from something he was doing or whatever, you was enjoying the perks of his lifestyle, your ass should go to jail. Period. You are just as big a piece of shit as he is. Probably even more so because you are the one who's on the outside of the situation looking in. So you should have better judgment. Now, I personally didn't watch all of it. I couldn't stomach no more than 2 or 3 minutes. But this is something that I've been following for years and reading different articles and depositions and all this for years. So there was really no big surprise in anything that was on this documentary that I was like, oh, damn. Wow. Now, a lot of people are talking about, he was molested and And that is what, is the basis of him doing what he did. And I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. You're not about to use the hurt people mantra with this dude, with me, and I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, you right. Nah. No. There are people who have been molested and raped and traumatized and all of that, and they didn't turn around and do what what happened to them. Furthermore, this man has been getting money for decades. If he had some type of mental problem, he could afford to get all the help that he wanted, all the help that he needed. But he didn't want help. He wanted to do the shit that he did. So he did it. And you got people defending this man tooth and nail for the shit that he did. Some of the reasoning, some of the excuses that people have been given in support of this man is just mind-blowing. First of all, I don't give a damn about what Elvis did, the Beatles, Harvey Weinstein, Trump. None of them. I don't care. That is not our problem. That is not our focus. It's just not. You cannot equate what they did to what he did. First of all, and most importantly, he preyed on young black women, young black kids. And each and every one of y'all black asses know damn well if it was young Susie and Amy, his ass would have been in jail. Been in jail. But because of who he was and who he went after, it wasn't their concern. He was too busy making the right people a lot of money. A lot of money. He had big time label lawyers backing him. He had, connections. Money, power, and influence is a motherfucker, man. And a lot of people had a lot to lose if he went down. But he washed now, so he fair game. It's wide open. Do you honestly believe that this shit would have been able to go on TV at the height of his career, at the I believe I can fly moments and all of that? If you think that, you are a goddamn idiot. So people talking about why are they coming out now? Who cares? Who fucking cares? I mean, there isn't a time frame of victimhood. It's not. People deal with trauma in different ways. Now, I'd be lying if I said I believe every single woman that ever came forward against him. I don't. But I believe enough of them to know that he's a piece of shit. That he's a Pied Piper pedo. That's what he is. I mean, you had the whole Aaliyah situation. 15, man. Come on, man. If her parents had anything to do with it, they trashed too, but she was 15 years old. There's a reason they gotta know. 15, man. Come on. Let's not be obtuse. And then, you had the tape. You had folks up, but it was grainy. Come on, man. Y'all know that it was that, man. You had people say, well, he got off on all counts. He was found not guilty. George Zimmerman was found not guilty, but you niggas hate him. You won't do shit to him. OJ was found not guilty, but you know, the cops who killed, you know, Terrence Crutcher, Philando Castile, Mike Brown, you name any of them, they was found not guilty. But so let's not go that route, because you know what it is. And then, you know, you got people making the stupid comparisons, and, you know, Elvis married a 14-year-old girl, and I don't give a fuck about Elvis. Elvis was a goddamn thief. He stole from black people, so fuck him. Fuck him and Graceland. Period. Not our problem. What Kevin Spacey did, so what? He lost every show he was on when it went down. Harvey Weinstein, what he did, so what? He's going to prison. Still not our problem. Larry Nassar, so what? He in jail forever. Ever. So stop with the comparisons trying to justify what this monster did. Stop. I mean, the way some of these folks defended him, some people that I know defended him, got me looking at you niggas real funny. You looking real funny in the light right now. Have to look at you real sideways. And how passionately some of you niggas is doing this, I can't help but think you not defending R. Kelly. You are defending your own fucking perversions. That's what you doing. And it's sad. It's sad as hell. I mean, every angle that people have hit me with over this shit, I've shot down. Like, I've had people tell me, you know, they was being fast, and so what? So what? 14, 15, 16-year-old girl being fast. Okay. If that's what you the hill you want to die on with this shit, then more power to you, but you sound foolish. You sound like a fucking idiot. Listen, you could be walking through the mall or Walmart or whatever, and a 14, 15-year-old girl could come up to you fast as hell, as you say, and proposition you. Say no. All you gotta do is say no and tell her go sit her little hot ass down somewhere. Boom. Look how easy that is. You're not gonna sit here and tell me and say anything in that vein to make me believe that the onus ain't on R. Kelly. That this nigga didn't have a choice. He had a choice. And he made the choices he made because, again, he's sick. And, you know, you had the whole, well, if you gonna throw R. Kelly music away, you need to throw away so-and-so music and so-and-so music and all of that. Michael Jackson, blah, blah, blah. No. At first, listen, I ain't telling you don't listen to his music. If that's what you want to do, by all means, you go right on ahead. Step in the name of Perv. All I'm saying is, it's problematic when you try to use his music as a means of justifying his behavior. That's where you look stupid. That's what is problematic. Like, oh, well, he can sing real good and make dope melodies and, you know, put together classic songs. So it's cool that he fuck with children. You know, I can live with that, as long as it ain't mine. And that's the problem. Before I get off of this whole R. Kelly shit, let me just say this to you all. We have to do a better job as a community, as a whole, protecting our women and children. Period. Black women are the most fiercely loyal, most educated, you can look it up, you don't believe it, most dedicated group of people on the face of the earth. Yet, they are the most marginalized, the most disrespected, the most abused. And a lot of it comes from us, black men. So, in order for us to do what we need to do to better ourselves, and when I say ourselves, the black community, sometimes you gotta make the hard choices. Sometimes you gotta get rid of the motherfuckers who are problematic. Folks like him and Bill, that uncle that everybody say, don't leave your kids around him. Problematic as fuck. And they all deserve the same amount of vitriol. They all deserve the same reckoning. I don't give a fuck that he's a celebrity. This story could have been a nigga down the street from me. Still problematic. Don't hit me with that, they throwing another black man under the bus. Nah. That nigga drove himself off the cliff. And you lemmings ass niggas who defended his honor is falling right off the side. Go ahead. If we gonna build Wakanda, we gotta get rid of dead weight. We gotta get rid of problems. So be it. Now, in other sad news, did you guys see the story of the young lady who got brutally murdered, shot in the car with the mother, 7-year-old child, little Miss Jazmine Barnes? I have a 7-year-old daughter, and that shit hurt like hell to read this. Hurt like hell. Now she was killed when a white man fired into her family's car. And her family has every reason to believe that the attack was racially motivated. This happened on December 30th. And the manhunt for this piece of shit is still continuing. Now they released a sketch of this man. You can go see it at the Harris County Sheriff's Office of Texas Twitter page. He's a thin white man, believed to be between his 30s and 40s, in a red pickup truck. And they also released footage that showed the red pickup truck that the shooter was driving in when he pulled up next to this woman, Miss LaPortia Washington. Now he opened fire. The mother was struck in the arm, and her oldest daughter noticed that baby wasn't moving, wasn't talking, because this bastard shot this child in the head. So, you know, they've been awfully silent on this. Awfully silent, because we don't matter. But you know, if this was some little girl who was killed in a drive-by shooting from some gang shit, they'd be all over it. All over it. But when the lens is turned on them, nothing to say. That ain't our problem. He was some rogue white guy. He's not a part of us. Now, as of right now, like I said, they're still looking for him. A manhunt is going on, and a lot of people in this area. And hell, I'm only about a 10-15 minute drive away from where it happened. I've been to this Walmart, but that baby's parents and local activists, they all think that it's possible that this shooting was connected to another shooting that took place 6 miles away. A black man named Avante Williams and his girlfriend's grandmother was shot after a man in a pickup drove up on them, just fired in their car. Shooter was never found. Case remains unsolved. Sad. I mean, this case honestly is indicative of race relations in America. It is. This case has and should spark, new conversations about racism in America and call attention to the different ways, the specific ways that it acts and treats black bodies, especially black women and black girls in America. And this is why I tell you guys, we have to do better within our own community to protect and help and love one another, because the outsiders don't care. Non-black people don't truly care. We've seen the different instances. We've seen the different videos. We've seen it all. So, we just got to do better as a whole. We got to weed out the bad ones, nurture the sick ones, embrace those who are struggling, and continue to move forward as a group. Cohesion is a must. So for this week's episode, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Politricks as usual. We have quite a bit of things that's going on right now with our federal government. A lot of the stuff I kind of talked about when I did the midterm report a few weeks ago. So, let me just start off by talking about what's good, the good news. Last week I talked about the history that was made, with black women of color in elections with the government. It's the biggest stories of the year. So now we have reached a point to where they have finally taken office. You have Ayanna Pressley. She is Massachusetts' first black congresswoman. You have Jayhana Hayes. She's Connecticut's first black congresswoman. You have Veronica Escobar and Sylvia Garcia, who are both the first Hispanic women ever to be elected to federal office. You have New Mexico's Deb Haaland and Kansas's Sharice Davids. They are the nation's first Native American women to serve in Congress. You have Abby Finkenauer and Cindy Axney. They are the first women elected to the House in Iowa. You have Rashida Tlaib. She made history with her swearing in as the first Palestinian American woman to serve in Congress. I mean, you had a bunch of women who made a lot of strides, big strides, in government, getting elected. Huge. Now, with that being said, like I said, that's the good stuff that happened. But we got a lot of shit going on. Of course, the biggest story on everyone's lips right now is the shutdown. The government shutdown is what everybody is talking about. So I figure, there's a few things that people don't know that people should know. When a shutdown happens, what all is involved, what are some of the programs that are affected, things like that. Now, the government was partially shut down because lawmakers could not reach an agreement about funding for Toupee Fiasco's wall. Now, let me just say, he ran on the platform saying that Mexico would pay for this fucking wall, which normal people with common sense and saying that they knew that was some bullshit, but they ate it up. Now we're here, so we just got to deal with it. And right now, there's really no indication as to when this shit will end. He's being a petulant child. If he don't get his way, he said it could be months. It could go years. Hopefully, he won't be in office. But that's another story. But when there's a shutdown, the entire federal government doesn't, just shut down. Government functions that are related to emergency and disaster assistance, criminal investigations, air traffic control, protection of federal property and other activities that are essential to ensure continued public health and safety, like food inspections, hazmat management, they all continue to operate, but they do reduce the workforce. A lot of people on furloughs. Like right now, we have like 800,000 people or so that are furloughed. Another thing people need to realize is that the shutdowns cost the government a lot of money. Now, the last major one, 2013, the cost of lost productivity cost the federal government $2 billion in payroll alone. $2 billion. And again, and what's crazy is right now you got guys like Pence and some of the other aides who, if they don't get a deal in place real soon that freezes the raises, they will get pay raises. Crazy, I know, right? Now another thing people should know is that the shutdown, it doesn't just affect or impact just government employees only. You have like the parks and museums. They lose revenue from that. Because each day that it's closed, it is estimated that 700,000 people are unable to visit shuttered national parks and destinations like the National Zoo. And it costs the national economy loses about $75 million a day on this, they say. It also can delay the death benefit payments to the families of deceased service members. They could be delayed. There's delays in processing of things like federal loans and permit applications and, FAFSA and things of that nature. It's not just government workers who are affected by shutdowns. And you know, the people who vote, you know, we the voters, we don't really like shutdowns. We are opposed to the idea. We are opposed to the prospect of government being shut down. And, you know, first of all, it's just not a good goddamn look. It's not. My thing is, these elected officials have a job to do. These elected representatives have a job to do. And I feel like they are compromising that job by not getting things done to avoid shit like this. But again, when you're dealing with a man baby who throws fits when he don't get his way, it is what it is. Now, we hadn't reached the longest shutdown yet. I think the longest one was about 3 weeks or so. This happened in 95. And large portions of the federal government was shut down for 3 weeks because of a dispute with President Clinton and Republicans. And we've had, you know, we had a shutdown this year, or 2018 in January, that lasted 2 days. I think from the 23rd to the 25th or somewhere up in there. But, you know, the point that I'm making is, like, we have a lot of problems going on, and the wall is at the crux of a lot of it. Like, you know, they are so worried about this mythical caravan of killers and rapists and drug dealers and whatever they want to call them, that they are compromising the livelihood and the lives of American citizens who work hard every day. Now, I don't feel bad for those who voted for this idiot who are affected by this, but at the same time, it not only affects them, it negatively affects those who didn't vote for him. Like, you know, innocent people are caught in the crossfire of this asshole and his desire to build this wall that won't stop anything. It just won't. My hope is we won't see this asshole after 2020. And for those of you who are still supporting this dummy, shame on you. Because he don't give two fucks about you, your family, your future, or your well-being. And that's Politricks as usual. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around for this week's episode of Colonizer Nonsense. My first Colonizer Nonsense moment of 2019. We gonna start this thing off right with some rights and some lefts. My first story takes me to St. Petersburg, Florida. Goddamn, Florida, you starting the year off on some bullshit. Headline: McDonald's employee attacked over a straw. Goddamn. So, an intense fight broke out at a McDonald's in St. Petersburg after a customer decided to grab an employee. Now, a couple videoed this scene that shows 40-year-old Daniel Willis Taylor grabbing an employee by the name of Jazmine James by the neck. He fucked up too. What he didn't know, that this young lady had been training to box for the last 3 years, and she gave him everything that she got. Man, listen, she dropped them bees on him like Bushwick Bill with the quickness. Lefts, rights, you name it. And he got fucked up real bad. Now, here's my thing. First of all, I'm glad that this young lady could protect herself. Everybody should know how to defend themselves when they are attacked. But here's my problem. Problem one. All the motherfuckers who work with her, y'all some bitches. Y'all should have hopped that counter and whipped his ass. I mean, old school style whipping his ass. I wish the crew at KFC that was on that video was working at that McDonald's, because they would have really fucked him up. Second of all, this dude was only charged with 2 counts of simple assault. He should have been charged with a felony, but we all know how that goes. It is what it is. So, for all of you motherfuckers out there who think it's cool to grab people, you better know what you're doing, because 2018, goddammit, we ain't going, and she put a Mac whooping on his bitch ass. My next Colonizer Nonsense moment takes me to Portland, Oregon. Headline: Guest says Hilton racially profiled him by calling police over lobby phone call. Now, a brother by the name of Jermaine Massey was staying at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Portland when he had the police called on him for no apparent reason other than talking on the phone while black. Now, if you guys have seen the video, you can clearly see that the security guard was harassing this man for no fucking reason at all, asking him why he was there and all of this, making him show proof of his room and such, which he did, and then he still called the cops on this man. So the brother, he went to Portland for a concert and was staying there, and while he was returning to the hotel from the Travis Scott concert, he received a phone call from his mother. So learning that it was an emergency, judging by how late the call came in, he decided to step off in the corner, quiet corner in the lobby, and use the phone. And that's when he said the security guard named Earl, never mind, approached him mid-call and did all this nonsense extra bullshit. Now, the situation quickly escalated, and the security guard accused him of trespassing and not complying when asked for his room number. So even the front desk operator didn't know what was going on and automatically assumed the brother was in the wrong and called the police. So, in response to this bullshit, the Hilton fired both of those employees, which they should. And now this brother is asking for a public apology because of the way he was treated, which he should get. He's already lawyered up, so you know he about to get paid. I ain't mad at you. Way to start out 2019 getting that check. My final Colonizer Nonsense moment takes me to Brooklyn, Ohio, where we can add another thing to the list of things that we can't do, which is banking while black. Headline: Bank calls cops on black man for cashing his paycheck. Oh man, sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from fucking screaming. A bank in Ohio called cops on a black man and had him arrested because he was trying to cash his own fucking paycheck. So this brother named Paul McCown's, he stopped by the Huntington Bank in Brooklyn to cash his very first paycheck for $1,082.24. Now, he had just landed a job at an electric company. So because he didn't have an account with the bank, the teller asked him for 2 forms of ID and his fingerprints. Normal. It happens. I've seen it happen to everybody. But instead of finalizing that routine transaction, this bitch tried to call McCown's new employer to confirm that he actually worked there, thinking that check was bogus. Now, they called this man employer numerous times, and he never picked up the phone. So the tellers told him they couldn't cash the check, so he left. And as he was leaving, a squad car pulls up, right up in front of his car. Now, these people highly embarrassed this man. Highly embarrassed him. And the crazy part about it was, they had him arrested because they thought the check was too big. Now listen, I ain't trying to sound insensitive or nothing, but the check was less than $1,100. That's not like some whopping amount that you just don't see every day. I mean, really. So for them to have him arrested just goes to show how little they think of black folks and what we are capable of doing and what we should and shouldn't have. That was straight up bullshit. So now he's demanding an apology from the bank because they racially profiled him, which I feel that they did. Now, the bank came out and said, "We sincerely apologize to Mr. McCown for this extremely unfortunate event. We accept responsibility for contacting police as well as our own interactions with Mr. McCown. Anyone who walks into the Huntington branch should feel welcome. Regrettably, that did not occur in this instance, and we are very sorry." Don't be sorry, ho. Be careful. And while you at it, carefully craft that man a nice check for his pain and suffering. Happy New Year. This week in sports starts us off with college football, where we are gearing up for the national championship between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Clemson Tigers. Now, to get to this championship game, each one of those teams had to beat their opponents in a respective semifinal game, and man, did they ever. Alabama jumped out to a 28-0 lead against the Oklahoma Sooners before Kyler Murray, this year's Heisman Trophy winner, and his team decided to crank it up a little bit and turn this into a respectable game. Now, they did lose, but it wasn't that bad. Speaking of which, god damn Notre Dame. Now, they faced off against Clemson, and man, they beat the dog shit out of them. Now, I took this shit personal because I am a Notre Dame fan. Been a Notre Dame fan since the late 80s when we ain't had cable and all the games was free on NBC. But that's another story. So, in this game, Clemson beat Notre Dame 30-3. I mean, they beat the life out of that goddamn leprechaun. Knocked all the four-leaf clovers out his ass. They took his pot of gold from the end of the rainbow and beat his ass with it. God damn, come on, Notre Dame. Y'all can't be embarrassing me like this. Over in the NFL regular season ended on Sunday, and with that comes the dreadful Monday following the last game of the season, Black Monday. Now, Black Monday is the day when coaches normally who underperform during the season get fired. Well, this particular Monday was Black Monday. I'm talking about Jim Crow Black Monday. We saw 5 of the 7 black NFL coaches fired this Monday. Now, let me just say, the Cincinnati Bengals coach, he should have been fired years ago. I mean, he has been terrible for years. Marvin Lewis should have been gone. But the other 4 guys, especially the coach in Arizona, should not have been fired after only 1 season. I mean, come on now. Look, it's already a very huge discrepancy in the amount of black coaches, black executives in the NFL. And for 5 of the 7 to get let go in one day is some straight up bullshit. Now, like I said, don't feel bad for Marvin Lewis. He had his shot. Hugh Jackson got let go. He had his shot. Todd Bowles, he deserved another year, or could have got another year. But my biggest problem is with Steve Wilkes of the Arizona Cardinals. 1 year and he was out. Vance Joseph, Denver, 2 years, he was out. Meanwhile, you got a coach over in Detroit, Matt Patricia, who can't make it on time to meetings and shit to save his fucking life. And his team was terrible. And he looked overmatched. And he looked like he didn't know what to do anyway. And he still has a job. That's just straight up bullshit. Now, like I said earlier, not only did coaches get fired, well, the Raiders fired GM Reggie McKenzie as well. So here's the thing with that. You got John Gruden fucking that team up completely, and he's making all the decisions, yet Reggie McKenzie gets the axe. Now, his name's goddamn Reggie, so I ain't got to explain it. Elsewhere in the NFL, man, we got a lot of shit going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I talked about it earlier this year that Le'Veon Bell said, fuck this, you ain't paying me what I should get paid, I ain't playing, kiss my ass. Well, that really hurt the team because they did not make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. And Ben Roethlisberger, the interception throwing pussy grabber junior, has blamed the situation with Le'Veon Bell on his team's failures. He said that Le'Veon's contract shit was a distraction to the team. Never mind the fact that they started 7-2, and never mind the fact that he threw a bunch of fourth quarter picks when he shouldn't have, but it's all Le'Veon's fault. Also, Antonio Brown is really causing the ruckus, and stories that came out that he asked to be traded. Now, he's pretty pissed off. He doesn't like Ben. He doesn't like the coach. He was benched for a very big game, do-or-die game in week 17, and the stories came out that he got into an altercation with Ben and threw a ball at his ass. Well, he should have hit his ass upside the head because he deserved it. So anyway, he's looking to be traded, but he probably won't be traded because he has a $21 million cap hit, and ain't nobody trying to absorb that shit just for him to go play for somebody else. But I'll keep you up on how that shit goes down. Finally, in boxing, Floyd Mayweather. I hope this is the last time I'm talking about him in the goddamn ring. Anyway, Floyd Mayweather had a bout on New Year's Eve over Japan. Now, I talked about it a couple episodes ago. Well, it finally happened, and man, he beat the hell out of that dude. It was scheduled for 3 rounds. That motherfucker lasted all of 51 seconds. He looked like Mike Tyson in his prime when he used to knock heads off in less than a minute. So, Floyd made a whopping $9 million and got an all-expense-paid trip to Japan for New Year's Eve just for this shit. I ain't mad at him. Like I said, I don't know if he got no money problems or more money problems. Either way, he did it and he got paid. And I wish I could do the same thing. Hell, I done got my ass beat for free, let alone for $9 million. It's brought to you by Douce Cognac. My New Year, New Me resolution is already fucked up, so I might as well drink good for the rest of the year. I'll see you guys next week. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to touch on a couple things that I missed throughout the process of this episode. First thing I want to do is give a big shout out to DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans, who has decided to donate his playoff game check to the family of Miss Jazmine Barnes to cover funeral expenses and so on. Sean King and others have donated $100,000 to a fund for this family to try to get an arrest and all of that. So big shout out to them. I hope all of this helps to bring closure to this family and to get this racist monster off the street. One thing I didn't talk about when I was going through the political aspects of what's going on today is that when I mentioned that the Democrats have taken over the House, I failed to talk about they're about to cause toupee fiasco plenty of problems. You got Maxine Waters, Auntie Maxine as we call her. She got an axe to grind with that bastard for all the disrespect that he's giving her. She is gonna be on his ass, and I'm looking forward to it. She is the new chairman of the Financial Services Committee. She can look into all of his finances and the Trump's organization. So he nervous. You got Richard Neal, Massachusetts. He can request Trump's tax returns from the Treasury Department. Oh, he nervous. You got Adam Schiff. He is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, leading the Russian investigation. So, like I said in midterm episode, he better have his track shoes on because he's gonna be running because they coming after his ass. So this has been the first episode of 2019. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Looking forward to a big 2019. We got a lot of things going on. Shade and shit talking, Black with No Chaser. We got Black with No Chaser radio going. Come jam with us on live365.com. Make sure you stop by our website, www.blackwithnochaser.com, as well as find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Got big things on the horizon. Got a documentary coming up this year, Black Capital. Make sure you check that out when it drops. Won't be as explosive as Surviving R. I should name it Surviving Supremacy though, shit. That's what we doing. But anyways, I appreciate you guys listening. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Let's get it.
Oh, thank you.